Romeo and Juliet. You've probably heard of it. It's a play by William Shakespeare, or as I like to call him, Billy Shakes. There's two feuding families, the Capulets and Montagues. In each of these two families, there's a guy named Romeo from the Montague house and a girl named Juliet from the Capulet house. They meet at a party, fall in love, and get married the next day. Then, Romeo kills someone, and his homie Benvolio snitches on him, and Romeo gets banished. After that, Juliet is required to marry a guy named Paris, but she doesn't want to, because she still loves Romeo. So, she goes to this goober named Friar Lawrence, where the friar hatches a 6-step plan, the worst plan in the existence of humanity. Step 1. The friar tells Juliet to accept Paris's marriage proposal, which is wacky because the rest of his plan doesn't rely on it at all, and if things go wrong, then she has to marry Paris. Step 2. He tells Juliet to take a fake poison, which will slow her heartbeat. First of all, this has got to be unsafe. A poison that slows down your heartbeat to the point of which you don't even have a pulse is insane to drink. No such poison exists that wouldn't kill you in real life, and I have no clue what Billy Shakes was on about with this one. Step 3. Paris will find Juliet dead. Nothing wrong with this step, it's just the rest of the plan that absolutely sucks. Step 4. In this step, Juliet will presumably be placed in the tomb, which again is stupid, as Juliet may suffocate if they place her in any kind of coffin, and she may possibly go insane being surrounded by dead bodies. Step 5. Then, only after all of this, the friar will send a letter of the plan to Romeo. This is the worst step in the plan because letters take way too much time to travel and are unreliable. But more importantly, the friar should notify Romeo before the plan happens, not after half the plan's already gone through. Step 6. Juliet wakes up in the tomb with Romeo, and they leave to Mantua. This is possibly the stupidest step, because not only does Romeo have to sneak into a noble family's tomb, but also has to sneak out of it with what should be a corpse. Now that you know everything you need to, I will explain an improved 9-step plan with a lot less holes in it. Step 1. The friar informs Romeo of the plan in person. Step 2. Juliet accepts Paris's marriage proposal. This is different from the friar's plan because this plan actually makes good use of the acceptance. Step 3. The friar gifts Juliet a candle as a wedding gift. Step 4. Whilst Juliet is married to Paris for a few days, the friar enters the crypt, which, as a holy man, he would have plausible access to, and scouts out a small corpse with a full set of teeth, roughly the size of Juliet's body. Step 5. During the dead of night, whilst Juliet's candle is lit, Juliet sneaks out of her window and balcony, and the friar sneaks in and places the corpse underneath Juliet's bedsheets. Step 6. The friar then knocks over the candle onto Juliet's very flammable bedsheets. The flame would then spread to Juliet's flooring. Just to clarify, I did research, and the house would indeed be made of mostly partially wooden and stone materials as mostly just supporting structures. This means that the flames would indeed spread around the house as intended. Step 7. The friar, before the fire spreads too much, leaves the house, runs around to the front of it, then enters the house to notify the rest of the family, and claims that he saw the smoke coming from the roof whilst partaking in a midnight walk. Step 8. Juliet runs out of the city before any real commotion begins. She meets with Romeo in some form of meeting spot outside of the city. Step 9. The corpse in Juliet's sheets is eventually discovered, and due to being so charred, and the lack of dental records for the time period, the corpse is obviously presumed to be Juliet's. A funeral is held, and the real Juliet is nowhere to be seen. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.